In today's video, we're looking at buying the LG C4 OLED TV in 2025 and why now really is the perfect time. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. So I paid full retail value for the LG C4 back in March 2024 and it arrived sometime mid-April. But now it might be the very best time to purchase this TV because it's never been lower than what it is now. And also there is one particular model of C4 which is doing the best in terms of its value for money, the one which you can get for the lowest possible price compared to when it first launched. And I'll tell you that in just a second. And I'll also give you an update on how well this TV has performed over the best part of a year. So I'm going to concentrate on the three most popular models, and that is the 55-inch, the 65-inch and the 77-inch. When the C4 55-inch was launched, it was $1,899 and $1,999 in the US. The 65-inch version was $2,699 in both the UK and in the US. And finally, the 77-inch was $3,799 in the UK and $3,699 in the US. But what about now? So I've looked around and looked for the best possible price that you can get, and as far as I can see, the C4 55-inch you can now buy for $1,099 in the UK and $1,296 in the US. Obviously, if you've got a cheaper deal somewhere, then please let people know in the comments, because then hopefully they'll save some money. But that represents 58 and 65% savings. The C4 65-inch version, well, that's the best one by far, because in both the US and in the UK, that is now just 55% of its original value, and it's $1,499 in the UK and $1,496 in the US. And the 77-inch version, well, that's not fared quite as well. In the UK, for instance, it's only dropped to 65% of its original value, $2,499, and 59% in the US at $2,196. Now, one little tip is to make sure that you look for the correct model numbers because there can be differences in the price. For instance, here in the UK at the moment, the C4 5LA is $1,499, but the C4 4LA is $1,599. Now, often these differences are the different colour stand, for instance, or whether it's got a different back to it, a white back compared to a grey back, or some very slight changes to the accessories. They are normally exactly the same TV panel. So check out that, and that might be another way of saving a little bit more. But if it's just a slightly different coloured stand, for instance, or the back of the TV is just a slightly different colour, well then who cares? Let's try and save as much money as possible. Now, in terms of a long-term review, the LG C4 has lasted brilliantly, as I'd expect it to. A TV which is only 11 months old shouldn't cause any problems or have any issues at all. A couple of the little niggles with this TV might be the reflections if you're in a very light, bright room or it's right opposite a window. As you can see here, the blinds are just slightly encroaching on the TV, but providing you've got it positioned in a fairly sensible position, then you're not going to have any issues. It's bright, it's super sharp, the viewing angles are fantastic, and everything about the actual picture quality of this TV is just stunning. And also in terms of its longevity, in terms of burn-in and how it deals in motion, well, again, as I would expect, I've not had any issues at all, and this is the latest clean screen test that I run, and there's not even the slightest little sign of any image retention or any image burn-in. So just do not worry about that for a single second. And as I've said on many videos over the past couple of years, I really do think that you have to go really beyond normal use to have an issue with these modern TVs. Sharpness is still absolutely pin sharp, and blooming just not a slightest bit of an issue in any of the corners of this TV. It really is in as new condition as the day I bought it. Now, the other thing to bear in mind when looking at purchasing a TV at this time of the year is the new TVs. The LG C5 has been announced at CES in January, and it's going to have some new features. But are those new features really going to be enough to make up for probably an overinflated price right at the very start? Now, inflation is running at high levels, and so therefore we are likely to see increases in the launch price than what we saw on the C4 this year. And although we're yet to see an actual model of the C5 in the studio, and so therefore we can't do our tests, we're likely to see some very minimal upgrades to the picture quality. There are going to be some improvements in the AI as featured in the CES demonstration. Lots of AI talk was held about what the TV will be doing for you, but a lot of people don't even use those features. And in the UK, you might not even get the new remote control because there's a law in the UK that the remote controls have to have the numbers on. Now, as I explained in a previous video, Samsung did get around that by including 2 remote controls in the package, and I really do hope LG do the same, because it would be really frustrating after all these years of waiting for an update to the Magic Remote that we don't see it in the UK. But I'll keep you updated as soon as I hear any more on that. So are the upgrades in the new C5 going to warrant the extra expense? And that could be as much as $1,000 or £1,000 more than what you can buy the same model C4 for right now. Now, in my opinion, it could really come down to just how many times you use those extra AI features, because if it's just down to picture quality, then it may not be worth it. And the saving that you can make on getting the C4 now, comparing to the C5 when it launches, is going to be huge. You could almost get 2 TVs for the same price. Now, obviously, as soon as they're available to pre-order, we will purchase one so that we can go through all of the features and show you the different improvements, the different figures in terms of its measurements, how much brighter it is, and whether there's anything that they haven't told us about that is a real game changer. I think certainly features like the personal picture wizard is going to be more accurate, and there's going to be more options, and so therefore that might appeal to people that don't necessarily like to go in and fiddle with the settings too much. But overall, my friends, this is a stunning TV, the C4, and it's going to take some beating. And for the last couple of years, the improvements from the C2 to the C3 and then the C3 to the C4 have just been incremental. There hasn't been huge changes. And the extra saving this year, when money is tight for a lot of people, well, that could be the big drive this year. So that's my thoughts, my friends. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you in the market for a new TV this year? Are you going to be taking advantage of the bargain prices of the C4 now? Or are you thinking of waiting and picking up the C5? Let me know in the comments. And as I mentioned earlier, if you do see those prices for any other good deals, then make sure you make a comment and let people know. All you need to do is write what retailer you found the price in, which country, whether it's US, UK for instance, and how much for what model. And then that will give people the option to check the latest prices for themselves. But if you want to check out my links, then that's the latest prices and the best prices that I could find as of the 12th of February when I've made this video. That's it for this video, my friends. Look forward to seeing you as these new TVs start to arrive, and hopefully it won't be much longer now.